Check 1 2, check 1 2, testing, testing, testing.
It's still delayed, huh? No delay. Oh, it's because the stream's delayed.
Yeah,
Okay, I thought it was
it's always gonna be
audio
delayed.
delay. Cool.
All right, mute that for the time being.
Mute that, and then. Alright, we're good.
Alright.
Alright.
And I'll go live my intro at 5.
5? Okay. I'll tell. Could you here come in for a sec? Sorry. I'm gonna mute this for now.
It's a beautiful fall afternoon here in Mount Vernon, New York, and it's time for football. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the official YouTube channel of the Monroe Mustangs. I'm Ben Smith, and thank you for tuning in to today's live stream coverage of NJCAA football coverage, where your Monroe Mustangs will take on the number 11 Falcons of Lackawanna College in their final home game of the season. The Mustangs come into this contest 4-3 on the season with a bit of momentum on their side. Having won the last 2 games in a row, they routed Community Christian College back on October 12th, 68-14, and Nassau Community College 40-16 on October 19th. The Mustangs offense has produced an average of 26.57 points per game and allowed an average of 24 points per game defensively. The offense also notably is averaging 275.9 yards per game coming into this contest. Braden Oliver has been solid in the pocket this season for the Mustangs with 9 touchdown throws this season and averaging 154 yards per game. On the rush, Sean Robinson has also contributed solidly to the Mustangs season with 4 touchdowns rushing and an average of 62.43 yards per game. Switching over to the opposition, the Mustangs have a record of 3-11 all time against Lackawanna, who have won the last 5 showdowns over the Mustangs. Last time the Mustangs managed to get a win over Lackawanna was back on October 9th, 2021, when they beat the Falcons 49-48 in an overtime thriller in Lackawanna. The Falcons sit at 6-2 on the season so far, having won the last 4 games in a row. And most recently they beat Hocking College in an absolute rout, 67-12, this past Saturday. This team is very dangerous this season, averaging 41.88 points per game offensively and limiting their opposition to an average of only 18.13 points per game this season, keeping it under 20. One of the best defensive teams in JUCO this year. One of the highlights of their production has been Maurice Edwards, who has 9 touchdowns this season rushing and averaging over 100 yards a game. This is coupled with Wyatt Hagan, who has been absolutely stout in the pocket this season with 16 touchdown throws this season and averaging over 165 yards per game. And as you see down below, the Mustangs, up to a rousing ovation from the crowd, are coming out to the sideline as we close in on the opening ceremonies for this contest. And something else I've been noticing, looking over on the depth chart for this team, and as we said, Monroe has a lot of momentum going their way. Hopefully they've learned something from their other recent showdowns with Lackawanna that they can use here today to limit the danger of the offensive production of Lackawanna, but also be keeping in mind how dangerous their defense is as well. This is a team that is very good on both sides of the football. But also taking a look at the rosters for these two very deep squads, something to notice is some of the size differential in the offensive and defensive lines is by and large just on paper here from a size perspective, much bigger. The gentlemen on the offensive lines and defensive lines for Lackawanna bring a lot more size to the table. Of course, size doesn't always mean athleticism. Let's see if the Monroe can possibly use the smaller size for some maneuver in their favor, but we'll see as we get down to it. And with that, folks, we're going to turn it downstairs to the public address for the opening ceremonies and the national anthem for today's contest. You're watching Mustangs Football on YouTube. We'll be right back. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Mustangs YouTube channel for today's live stream of the game. We're about to get underway. That was the opening ceremonies. And here's the kickoff. And it goes short, bounces about the 20 and the 15, and will roll out of bounds, and there's a flag. A bit of misplacement on the kick there. Not a lot of height to it. And that's going to give the Mustangs some good starting position on this drive. Start at the 35-yard line. Lackawanna has opted to receive the ball in the second half. Now you see Raiden Oliver starting back in the pocket for the opening drive. 1st and 10. Hikes the ball, hands it off, and with maybe a small gain of maybe a yard on the rush. So now brings up 2nd down. And nope, there was no gain, so still 2nd and 10. Oliver calls the audible. Back in the pocket. Goes downfield for the pass and will well overshoot the intended receiver. And I believe that was Brown who was the intended receiver. So it'll be now 3rd and 10. As early on here, they're still trying to get some offense going. It's now set up for the play. Looks like we got 3 receivers down on the near side here. Comes out of the pocket. Here comes the rush. Throws downfield and ends up throwing it away. Can't find a play, and that'll bring up 4th down for the Mustangs in their opening drive. Come in now for the Mustangs, and they're going to punt the ball. Lackawanna plays back. We'll have 2 guys out to receive the punt. Here's the punt from Monroe. Good hang time on the ball. And it's actually going to bounce way back. And this worked pretty well for the Monroe special teams. And the ball's going to come to a rest at about the 12-yard line. A superb punt from the Mustang special teams. And that's going to force Lackawanna to play further back. I'm surprised they didn't fair catch this or try and play further back on this, but I guess when you've had as much offensive production as Lackawanna has had this season, that shows a lot of confidence in their offense. As I mentioned before in the pregame, they put up 67 points against Hocking in this past Saturday. And here's the handoff in the pocket, and a nice little gain of about 7 yards on the rush. Carried out by Maurice Edwards, a sophomore from Mundelein, Illinois. Here's the play in the pocket. Handoff again to Edwards. Edwards goes down, and he will go all the way to the 30. But with a gain of about 11 11 or 12 yards, and he'll make it all the way to the 30-yard line and bring up a fresh set of downs for the Falcons. So the Falcons now, 1st and 10. Back to the pocket, go for the rush, and this time they do not make the big gain they want, and that'll be whistled down as dead, no gain. Looks like they intended to use Edwards again on the rush, and we're unable to make a gain. Now it's 2nd down and about 8 yards. So it got a gain of, correcting myself, is about a gain of 2 on the plane. Hagan plays back in the pocket. Good pass there on the receiving, and it'll be out of bounds with about a yard short. That catch was made by number 87, Christian Harrison. So it'll be 3rd down and 1. I expect we'll see Lackawanna probably try to rush here, maybe even a QB sneak potentially, considering they only need to gain a yard. You can see Monroe preparing for it, and they do hand off to Edwards, and he's going to get 1st down and then some. Goes out at about the 48. And a nice 1st down gain for Lackawanna. Mustangs defense has not been able to find a way to stop them yet. Correction, about, so 1st and 10 from the 47, actually. And now we will see what they can do in the next set of plays as they're about to cross over into Mustangs territory on the pitch. Here's the handoff. And it's going to be a breakout and another first down play. He's still going. He has not been brought down yet. Goes all the way to the 30. So a huge gain of over 20 yards on the handoff. There they go. And a nickel formation. Hagan plays back. Gets the pass, and that's going to be an incomplete pass. First incomplete pass for Lackawanna in this drive. That was pass intended for Christian Harrison. Now set up for 2nd down and 10. Hagan hands the ball off. And a gain of about 4 for number 28, Galamama Mulba, running back from Levittown, Pennsylvania. And that'll bring out 3rd down. Actually only really made a gain of 3. So 3rd down and 7. Still a little ways out, but Lackawanna finds himself in field goal range now. Hagan coming in a dime formation. Plays it back in the pocket, and that's going to be an incomplete pass. Kind of misplaced the throw a little bit, and it came up behind Mike Hodge, who tried to reach for it and keep it alive, but to no avail, and that'll bring up 4th down and probably bring out the special teams. Hagan's still out there I almost wonder if they're going to go for it. And yeah, they're going to keep. Yep, they're keeping Hagen out there. Interesting. They're going to go for it on 4th. Hagen back in the pocket. Pocket collapsing, goes for the long ball, and that's going to be incomplete, and a turnover on downs for the Monroe defense. Overthrew just a little bit for Hagen. So no scored that drive for Lackawanna, and that gives a little bit of a reprieve to Monroe, as now they'll bring out the offense. $9:02 to go here in the first. Monroe sets up on their offense. Calls for the option. Back in the pocket. Goes for the shotgun pass. Almost picked off. Wow. Underthrowing the intended receiver. Raiden Oliver, I think he intended to, so read the number here, I think he was intending that pass for Jashawn Amin and underthrew him a bit, and that ball almost was picked off for Lackawanna. If he had picked that ball, he had nobody in front of him on that outside lane. It would have been he would have had smooth sailing over into the end zone potentially. So lucky break there for Monroe. And running out of time here on the clock, and that's going to be a timeout called before the bye. Monroe calling the timeout. They couldn't get their play set up in time before risking delay of game. So timeout here to retool and recalculate for Monroe as they try to figure out how they're going to get by this Lackawanna defense. As I said, the Falcons have limited their opponents on average to under 20 points a game this season. This is a team that's been very good on both sides of the football. But Monroe has momentum on their side as well. They're 4-3 on the season. Respectable numbers put up on their end as well. And now let's see what play Mustangs have here. And that's going to be a flag there. Looks like a false start. Yep. And that's for a false start, 5-yard penalty on the defense. You saw you could see on the outside, Brown was pointing at the movement by the cornerback for Lackawanna, and that's going to allow better placement now from Monroe. They'll say, thank you, good evening. I will take those free yards. Thank you very much. To quote Oliver Twist, please, sir, I want some more. Oliver back in the pocket, hands it off. And here's the rush, and hands off to, trying to see who that was, hand off to, looks like Horniker, tight end, actually had the ball, and made a gain of about 2. So 3rd down and 2. Big play coming up here for Monroe. And you see Radekis Johnson on running back playing back behind Oliver. Oliver hands it off to him. And he's going nowhere. In fact, he'll be brought down for a loss on that ordeal, and that'll bring up 4th down for the Mustangs. So missed opportunity for the Mustangs. Had a penalty in their favor, which get them closer, earning 2nd down, but we all for naught, and looks like they will suffer a loss of about 2 yards before the play was called dead. This will bring out the special teams and the punting crew. Here's the punt. Has some good hang time to it. And Lackawanna just letting it bounce. And Monroe special teams will grab that at about the 41-yard line. It actually bounced about the 35 and ricocheted the long way and landing at about the 41. So a good, favorable starting position for Lackawanna as they come out for their next offensive shift. Here's the hike. Hagen hands it off, and he'll be swallowed up in the pocket and brought with a gain of about 2. Clock continues to run down. Brings up second down. Hagen back in the pocket. Goes for a low lateral pass, and no gain. Monroe able to swallow this up. In fact, it might even be a loss of about a yard. Correction, loss of about 2 yards. And so it'll bring up third down. And back to 3rd and 10. Hagen now will position himself. Has Edwards to his right. Goes back in the pocket. Pocket collapses and goes for, I'm not quite sure what he was aiming for there on that one. And pretty sure the intended receiver was again Harrison, but he well overthrew him, and that'll bring up 4th and 10. Just another missed opportunity for his team. He got rid of the ball in a hurry, though, as the pocket was collapsing around him. The Monroe defense, got to give them credit where credit's due. They've been able to stunt what has usually been a steamroller offense this season for Lackawanna, and that'll bring in the special teams. Looks like Jashawn Amin will be the freshman, will position himself to be the punt returner. Oh, punt gets blocked by the special teams. It's a loose ball fumbled. He's going towards the end zone. We're going to be brought down at the 5. Oh, my goodness. What a play and a punt block by number 11 for Monroe. Theodore McDuffie on the defensive end, the sophomore from Amherst, New York. How about that? What a play by Monroe, making their presence known. And now it's going to be suddenly 1st and 10 for the Mustangs. Oh, my goodness. You don't see that you do not see that every day, and the crowd loves that one. They're going nuts. Strike up the band, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, looks like we might have a false start here on Monroe's end. Wait a minute, this might make the job a little more difficult for them. My goodness. That's going to put it back to the 10, and suddenly just made Monroe's job a little more difficult. Still 1st and goal, but you can't make mistakes like that when you're that close to the goal line. Ray Oliver calling for a play. I see him making a signal to his right towards the receivers. Option called. Back in the pocket. Goes for a toss. Breaks through one tackle and brought down on the rush. I believe that was... Trying to see what number that was inside on the rush. If it was Jefferson, that was Jefferson, but either way, a little bit of a gain. Brings up 2nd down and 7. Oliver all by himself. 5 receivers on the field right now. Goes back in the pocket. Scrambles. Pocket collapses. Calls for a throw. Throws it, and he's going to well overthrow the intended receiver. Pass was intended for number 5 for Kameen Powell, a freshman from Crumlin, Pennsylvania. And that'll bring up a big 3rd down coming up here. And you can see the kicking squad getting warmed up for Monroe. That's number 20, Joseph Wright of Stansbury Park, Utah, getting warmed up. But we'll see if they can convert here on 3rd and goal. Back in the pocket, Oliver goes for the pass and caught! Touchdown, Mustangs! Caught by Donovan Brown, a freshman from Montgomery Village, Maryland. And it's 6-0 as the Mustangs strike first blood in this contest. Heck of a play for the Mustangs. Caught him wide open there in the upper corner of the end zone. And that all started thanks to the special teams for causing the block punt a few plays ago. And here's the kick. Oh, it's going to be blocked. It's blocked. Can this ball be picked up and recovered? And we brought down. It was a blocked extra point attempt by Lackawanna. And the drama just continues to escalate on blocked punts, blocked kicks. The special teams on both teams right now are absolutely ridiculous. I feel like you're in for a barn burner here down in Mount Vernon, New York, ladies and gentlemen. That's the 2nd block punt or kick of any sort I've seen already, and we still got 4:40 remaining in the first quarter. But either way, 6-0 gain for the lead by the Monroe Mustangs. And now bring up the kicking unit and special teams as we get ready for a kickoff. And it looks like there was a flag on the play. So they're on the Lackawanna special teams. So it'll be a redo on the field goal attempt for Monroe for a holding call. And this time it will be through the upright and the extra point without further controversy. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. You might have to get a defibrillator for me with how this drama's unfolding up here. So 7-0 now for the Mustangs, leading early, 4:40 to go. And now the kickoff unit will come out. Kickoff unit sets up. Joseph Wright got the extra point. Also handling the kickoff duties. Freshman from Stansbury Park, Utah. And here's the kickoff. Well placed about the 12-yard line, and here comes the return. Scrambles to get through the pocket. Has some room. Oh, spin move. Still on his feet and brought down with a gain all the way up to the 38-yard line. for number 1, Mike Hodge, on the return there, the sophomore from Richmond, Virginia. So good placement for Lackawanna to set up their next drive at the 38-yard line. And you can almost, and besides the block on the kick attempt earlier, you can kind of attribute the early gamble by Hagen to go at it on 4th, be a factor in this, and he hands off to Maurice Edwards, and it'll be a very short gain of only maybe a yard or two, and brings up 2nd and 8. But you can attribute his early attempt at about the 20-yard line to go for it on 4th down very early and boldly for kind of setting up the series of events that followed. In hindsight, Lackawanna probably would have been better off just going for the field goal. Here's Hagen. Back in the pocket. Loose ball. Ball's loose. Did Monroe recover it? I think it fumbled. And might have been, recovered by linebacker Kareem Lewis. Let's see if the call is on that. And yeah, that was... Nope, still wasn't no fumble called on it. Looks like the throw was down. You can see Monroe scrambling to get back in position as a result. And there's a flag on the play. Against the offense. Looks like possibly false start. Yep. So 3rd down and deep for Lackawanna. Their job just became that much harder. And it's been a nightmare for Lackawanna to get some. They had a good offensive drive going early, but since that 4th down attempt, as I was mentioning before, they've been paying the price big time for it. Hagen calls for the option. Scrambles out of the pocket, goes for the throw, well placed, and out of bounds, and well short at 9 yard, 4th and 9. And on the throw to, I believe that was Mike Hodge he threw to. And now bring up 4th and 9. And we can see the punting team comes out. So Lackawanna will punt. Here's the kick. Fair catch called. And Monroe will take this ball from about the 24-yard line. So 1st and 10 from Monroe. See if they can get another drive going here. They had some defensive shenanigans help them get set up here, but now they're going to be down deeper for a proper drive with 2:11 to go in the 1st. Let's see what Monroe can do here. Raiden Oliver will set up in the pocket. Has 5 receivers out. No runners. Goes back in the pocket. He almost gets sacked. Gets rid of the ball just in time. And that one's going to be called dead on the catch to Kameen Powell. Kameen Powell, the freshman from Cumberland, Pennsylvania, gets the catch. And it'll be 2nd and 5 at the 30-yard line. So good heads-up throw there by Raiden Oliver. If he had waited another half second, he would have been sacked for a loss. As the pocket collapsed around him basically immediately. Got some pretty big but athletic human beings there on the defensive line. Gets the throw off here, and nicely and it's going to be brought down, and that'll be a first down, courtesy of number 0, LaSalle Rose, a freshman wide receiver from Waldorf, Maryland. And so first down for the Mustangs, and a fresh set of downs. First and 10 from the 39-yard line. Oliver with 3 receivers. Has a rush as well. And it's going to be a very small gain of maybe 1 by Redekis Johnson. 43 seconds. Oh, we have a penalty here. So 5-yard penalty against the Mustangs, and now they'll have to repeat second down with their job a little harder, and that's going to be set them back to first. It's going to be first down, excuse me, for a repeat, and they'll set them back to about the 34-yard line at 18 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Oliver hikes it and gets the handoff, and small gain of maybe a yard or 2 for Johnson. Yep, only a gain of a yard at the 35. As the clock will probably run out here, and that'll do it for the first quarter. And you can see everybody coming off the field, and that will do it. As we come to the end of the first, it is Monroe Mustangs up 7-0 at the end of the first over the Lackawanna Falcons. We'll take a short break here on the stream and be right back here with second quarter action. I'm Ben Smith. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And welcome back, folks, and that'll be a pass incomplete for Monroe. Bring up third down. And 14, still deep, trying to make up from the earlier penalty. Welcome back, folks, to, if you're just joining us, we're here live on the Mustangs YouTube channel. Ben Smith on the call from Mount Vernon, New York. 7-0. It's right now for the Mustangs leading as we've started the second. Third down and 14. Oliver trying to call us an audible here. And with 2 seconds remaining on the clock there, gets it off and could pass here and get some. A first down pass. He's not been brought down yet. He's still going for more. And an excellent throw and run for a first down from deep. And I believe that was caught, by number 9 for the Mustangs, Donovan Brown, with an impressive catch with a gain of about 17 yards. And now the Mustangs get a fresh set of downs on a big play and cross into Lackawanna territory. Oliver pulls it back in the pocket. Oh, he's going to scramble himself. The pocket basically overlaps him, and he's going to make a rush there and out of bounds at about the 39 or 40-yard line. Yep, at the 40. So a gain of about 6 actually. So nice scramble there by Raiden Oliver, excellently reading that the pocket just collapsed around him. And he had Jelon King, who plays at wide receiver, audible, and basically just went in front of him to help reinforce the pocket and caused it to not only envelop him but get behind him, and that just gave him a ton of running room to play around with. Calls for an audible here on the formation, hands it off, and a gain of about 2 for third down, about a yard gain for number 25, Redicus Johnson, running back from Pinson, Alabama. So another big third down coming up here from the 39-yard line. Oliver back in the pocket. No rushers. In a 5-receiver formation. He's going to go for the long ball here by the looks of it. Oliver back in the pocket. Scrambles. Wait a minute. Fakes him out. Goes in and slides to get the first at about the 29-yard line. An excellent play by Raiden Oliver. He was playing chess while the defense was playing checkers on that ordeal. Excellent play for the Mustangs quarterback. Big play needing to get the fresh set of downs now and soon, and did so. And they're going to start him they call him down at about the 30-yard line. So 1st and 10 from the 30. Now we get into about field goal range. You can see our esteemed kicker down below, Joseph Wright, getting warmed up. There's the handoff, and we've brought down on the carry. Johnson gets brought down at I don't know if he made a gain. If he did, it may have been about a yard. And nope, no gain. It'll be 2nd and 30. No gain on the play. And the Lackawanna defense trying to tighten up a bit. Oliver calls for play. Puts the ball back in the pocket. Fakes the handoff. Goes for a pass. Wide open. Touchdown Mustangs. Whoa. What a play with the fake handoff. Completely caught them flat-footed for the touchdown caught by LaSalle Rose in the end zone. And it's now going to be a 2-possession lead for the Mustangs as they come in to get the extra point. Here comes Wright. Attempting the extra point attempt here. Here's the kick. And it's through the upright and good for the extra point. Mustangs lead 14-0. Strike up the band. A heck of a surprise here for the Mustangs, really. Not only riding the momentum of the last couple games, but stepping up big time against a squad that they've lost their last 5 appearances against on this Lackawanna team. Obviously, we still got a lot of football left to play, but you got to be impressed, excuse me, with how the Mustangs have shown their mettle here to start off. Right, with the kickoff. It's this one to about the 15-yard line on the return, and here comes the return, and defense swallows them up and bring down about the 28-yard line. believe that was, trying to see, and I believe that was number on that return attempt there. I believe that was on the roster. I believe that might have been Quadir Blackwell for Lackawanna. My apologies, couldn't quite get a good read on the number. Lackawanna setting up for their next play. Been a while since they were out there. Going for the handoff, and Monroe swallowed them up in the pocket. Maybe a gain of about... Oh, man, I don't think there's any gain. No gain, actually. Brings up second down. So Wyatt Hagan, as Lackawanna tries to set up a response, sets back up in the pocket. 3 receivers and a rusher at his disposal. Pocket collapses on him. He's going to get out himself, going for the run, and he's going to get brought down at about, I think he might have gotten the first down, and he does. It's brought down at the 40-yard line. He looked at what Raiden Oliver was doing during his drive and was like, hey, look what I can do. So he shows his rushing chops as well. So from the 40, fresh set of downs. Goes back to the pocket, goes for the handoff. And a solid rush of about 7 for number 5, Maurice Edwards. And we give him 7. So second down and 3. Second and 3 from the 47. Their own 47. Hagan hikes the ball. Hands off to Edwards. He fakes the handoff. He's going for the long pass and well overshoots Christian Harrison, the intended receiver on that play. And that'll bring up third down. Big play here for Lackawanna, because with the momentum we've been seeing out of the Mustangs right now, I don't think they want to give them back the ball right now. With 8:23 to go here in the second, hikes the ball back in the pocket. He's going down for a long pass, and that's going to be caught! Unbelievable! What a catch on the Hail Mary throw to number 1, Mike Hodge, and that one was superbly placed, and the jump by Hodge to get the catch, and that brings it all the way down into the red zone. So that'll be a first down from the 20-yard line for Lackawanna, about field goal range. And the refs are having a discussion down here about something. Offsides. Interesting. So offsides called against Monroe, but penalty obviously declined by Lackawanna and allow the throw to take place, and fresh set of downs from the 20-yard line. Hagan hikes it. Goes for a cross catch to Harrison, and that's in for a Lackawanna touchdown. And finally on the board with a good cross pass from Christian Harrison to connect. 14-6 now, Falcons on the board. So now the special teams will come out for the extra point attempt. Ball's hiked. Here's the kick, and that will be good through the upright for the extra point for Lackawanna, who now go on the board, down 14-7 to Monroe. And the kick was put away by Keegan Hughes, the sophomore from Scranton, Pennsylvania. It's 7:26 to go here in the first half. And now the kicking unit comes out for Lackawanna. Michael Hartshorn will handle the kicking duties, the punter. That's going to be picked up on the back end by Monroe, by Mike Hodge, and he'll go out of bounds at about the 30. And they'll give a starting spot here for the Monroe offense. And now here comes the offense. A very productive offense for Monroe. Led by Raiden Oliver, going on their next set of drives. 7:18 to go in the second. Oliver calls for the play and had to get rid of the ball in a hurry. Went for a long pass there, intended for Donovan Brown. And he had to get rid of the ball in a hurry, or else he was going to be sacked for a loss big time that on his left that he almost didn't see coming. So 2nd down and 10 for the Mustangs. Oliver calls for the audible. Goes back in the pocket. Throws and caught. And then out of bounds for tackled out of bounds, number 7, Jashan Amin. With a gain of 9. So bring up 3rd and 1 now for Monroe. So this could be a big play coming up here. 7 minutes to go. Oliver plays it back. Gets cuts for the handoff and brought down for a loss. Loss of about a yard for number 25 for Rodriguez Johnson. And so with that, 4th and 2, looks like the special teams will come out, I think. Yep, the special teams will come out to punt the ball. Here's the punt. With some decent hang time on it and a good bounce. That's going to get way back, and that's going to get hooked up. Good grab by Mike Hodge, who grabbed that one and realized it was having a lot of bounce to it and stopped some of the bleeding and recovered it at the 19. As now Lackawanna will bring out the offensive crew again, seeing if they can ride their momentum after scoring on their last drive. With a couple of masterful deep passes by Wyatt Hagan on the play call. Hagan back in the pocket. Hands it off to Edwards. Edwards breaks a tackle. He's got daylight all the way down to the 50 and the 45-yard line before he finally gets brought out of bounds with a huge run. With a gain of about 36 yards on that rush. I mean, he was this close to get him going all the way. If he had broken that tackle, he would have been long gone. Well, they call him back at about the 49, actually, so bringing about 32. Gets another handoff, and he breaks through all the way to the 34-yard line with another big gain and another first down. And reset his knees down. It's going to be Hagen kind of going for the rush here. He's not really doing much of a huddle early on here. He's slowing down, calling for a play call, trying to make sure everybody's in line properly and making sure there's no false starts. 1st and 10 from the 36. Hagen hikes the ball, hands off again to Edwards, and Edwards gets brought down for a loss. Brought down at about the 40-yard line and a loss of 4. And McDuffie made a big tackle there to bring him down. Theodore McDuffie, the 6'2 sophomore from Amherst, read that play masterfully. Went through the D line and managed to bring Edwards down for a loss to stop the run. Hagen, I think, got a little greedy there because of the 2 successful runs, thinking he could try a 3rd time on the predictable play. Hagen back in the pocket. Pocket collapsing around him. He's going for the long pass, and that's going to be no good. On the intended throw for, reading the number here, and I'll bring up 3rd down. Looks like he intended that pass for for Daryl Harper, number 3, and Harper was well covered under double coverage on a double coverage, and didn't really have much space to work with. So 3rd down, 4 and 14. Hagen back in the pocket. Pocket collapsing around him. Goes for the pass, and nobody's home. I think he intended that one for Rogers to get there further in time and overshot him by quite a bit. And that brings up 4th down, and you can see the punting unit come out. A great set of defensive work by the Monroe defense to stop that drive by Lackawanna, and brings up the punting unit with 4:08 to go in the first half. Here's the punt. That ball is going to go caught and set down at about the 9-yard line. Placed well by the special teams for Lackawanna. So it'll be a deep start from Monroe on this next drive with 3:52 remaining here in the first half. Braden Oliver sets up in the pocket. Has Johnson on right next to him on his flank. Hands it off to Johnson. Johnson finding some room to get through the line, and he gets brought down at about the 15-yard line. A gain of 6 for 2nd down. Hagen was set up in the pocket again, same formation. With Johnson right behind him. Calls for a play here, has 3 receivers at his disposal. Hikes the ball, back in the pocket, just barely gets rid of it in time, and that ball is going to be short and brings up 3rd down on the incomplete pass. And I think, so 3rd and 4. Looks like that pass was intended for number 6, Mohamedou Diabate, sophomore from East Orange, New Jersey. So Monroe calling a timeout here. with 3:01 to go as they strategize on 3rd and 4. All right, so after that timeout, let's see what play the Mustangs decide to go with here. Raiden Oliver back in the pocket. 3rd and 4. Big play coming up here. Hikes the ball, hands it off to Johnson. Johnson getting swallowed up in the pocket, and he maybe may have made a gain of 1 before being brought down, and that'll be 4th down and short. He's 2 yards short as 4th comes up. And that should bring up the punting unit, but let's see what play they decide to go with here. Seems to be some disagreement on whether to punt or go for it with 2:16 to go. I don't know why you don't punt it, being you're still inside your own red zone. And timeout called. So the final timeout of the half with 2:05 to go being taken by Monroe as they strategize here and decide what they were going to go with. I think there might have been some miscommunication down there as to whether they were going to go for it or punt it. And so we look at the situation here. Monroe's up 14-7 over the Lackawanna Falcons, ranked number 11 in the country for JUCO schools. And the offensive production has been stellar, but that first touchdown was made possible by block punt by the Monroe special teams that absolutely stunned everybody here. And, yep, very wisely, Monroe will go for the punt here. I see Mike Hodge getting in position for punt return duties here for Monroe. That ball's going to be bouncing well short. Hodge picks it up, tries to go for a run. He's tackled immediately by the special teams with a good tackle. He gets brought down at about the 46-yard line. And that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. Oh, penalty. So penalty against Lackawanna on that ordeal. That's been a big thing that's been going against Lackawanna as well. Just when you think they have a big opportunity, they keep getting brought in for a penalty. And because of that, because it was technically 4th down, it was 4th down for Monroe. That's gonna give a fresh set of downs for Monroe on that ordeal instead of turning the ball over. What a strange and fantastic turn of events for the Mustangs. So timeout called by Lackawanna so they can figure out what to do after that penalty call. So after that, that penalty, Rayton Oliver and the Monroe offense come back out with a fresh set of downs off the 15-yard penalty. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 32-yard line. As Johnson to his left. 2 minutes to go. Sets up the pocket. Under duress in the pocket. Almost out down by his own guys. And that allows him to get swallowed up for a loss. You saw him get hit in the back by one of his own linemen. I think that was number... Let me take a look on the roster here. I think that was number 77, Jameer Rogers, that backed into him and basically pushed him into the D-line guys for Lackawanna and swallowed him up. So now it'll be 2nd and 14. 1:22 to go in the half. We'll have nothing more than put this back at a 2-possession game. Oliver hikes it. Almost gets tackled here again. He's got to break through, and he's going to run it himself. Almost gets down all the way and gets for first, and I think he did get there in time. Yes, he did. He was good for a first down by about a yard or two and a fresh set of downs. And we got an injured player down on the field here from Monroe. I think it might be Oliver's. No, it's not Oliver's down. It's got a player down here being looked at for Monroe. Actually, I think that's number 7. Sean Adams. Sean Amin, excuse me. With 1 minute and 2 to go. Looks like he's going to get up and he'll be able to walk off under his own power. A vital component of this offensive unit for the Mustangs. So hopefully he's okay and we'll return to action here shortly. As he's going to come off and be looked at by our trainers. So first down for the Mustangs after that impressive rush by Rayton Oliver as the pocket was collapsing around him. As Johnson to his left. 3 receivers, sets up, hikes it. He's got to scramble again. Gets the pass off in time for a first down and then some. Brought down at about the 32-yard line for number 0, LaSalle Rose. And 28 seconds to go here. The clock is running. No huddle offense being called here by Oliver. They got no more timeouts, and he's going to spike the ball and bring up second down and stop the clock with 19 seconds left. Wants to get a little closer, even if they don't get the touchdown, try and set up to see if they can get a field goal attempt here with the seconds running down here in the first half. And you can already see down below me to my right is none other than Joseph Wright, the kicker, warming up down below in the event of that scenario. So 2nd and 10. Oliver 4 receivers. Johnson goes in the block for him. Pocket collapses. He has to scramble and gets brought down. That is a loss they can ill afford. Oh, there's a flag on the play. Let's see what the penalty's for. That flag was thrown in late. And we'll see who this goes against and who it benefits. There's 1 second left on the clock. Let's see what the verdict is.
Personal foul against the offense. Personal foul against the defense. Penalties all set. 3rd down.
All right, so 2 personal fouls, one against Monroe, one against Lackawanna, offset each other. So 3rd down and 1 second, out of field goal range now with that loss of yards. So it's 3rd. We ran out of time on the clock started running again after that penalty there. That should have stopped the clock. Looks like we got Looks like we got 0.8 of a second put up back up. Or 8 seconds, excuse. Yep, 8 seconds put back on the clock. So correction.
Operator, please put 9 seconds on the clock.
All right, so
The clock will stop on the ready for play.
so calling for 9 seconds on the clock, and a timeout called by Lackawanna. A little bit of a reprieve on 3rd down and 14. 3rd and 14 for Monroe. Oliver back in the pocket, spikes it, and it looks like they're going to go for a field goal attempt here from the 35-yard line. As I see Oliver comes off. No, Oliver's still out there. Excuse me, they're not going to go for it. We're going to have 5 seconds on the clock. At 3rd down, Oliver back in the pocket. Has to scramble. Gets tackled and will get brought down for a loss of a yard as we hit the end of the half. So at halftime, ladies and gentlemen, it is 14-7, your Monroe Mustangs leading over the Lackawanna Falcons. We'll take a short break here on the Mustangs YouTube stream and be back after the halftime. I'm Ben Smith. We'll be back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Mustangs YouTube channel we are live for second half action from Mount Vernon, New York, as we get ready at Memorial Field as we get ready for second half action. Lackawanna gets ball to start the second half. If you're just joining us, Mustangs are up 14-17 with a one-possession lead over Lackawanna, who are ranked number 11 in the country. We could potentially have an upset alert if things continue at this trend. Let's see if Monroe can keep the momentum going. Here's the kickoff to start the second half. They can be caught back at about the 10-yard line on the rush. And Monroe going to bring him down at about the 24-yard line. Mike Hodge not really able to get very far with that one. And now we'll start up that'll start us off here with the set of downs. It'll be about the 24-yard line for Lackawanna, and the Monroe defense will come out. We've talked about, for conversation in this game, how good the Lackawanna defense has been, but I've got to give credit to the Monroe defense. We had the special teams get that blocked punt, which set up the first touchdown that Monroe scored, and they've been able to stop them about 4 times in the first half. Here's the initial run by Edwards. It gets brought down at about the 33 for Maurice Edwards. And that'll be 2nd and 7. Excuse me, 2nd and 6, actually. Correction there. Gain of 4. Hagen back in the pocket. Tries to hand off to Edwards again, and they'll bring him down for a loss. A great tackle on defensive and with good coverage provided on the Mustangs defense by number 32 on the linebacker, Dylan Davis. He had some good help as well from number 86, Jacob Brown, on the defensive line as well. And so 3rd down and 9. Wyatt Hagen has to make something happen here. Oh, pocket collapsing around him. He's got to scramble and gets brought down and fumbled. Ball's fumbled, run back, and that's in. Touchdown, Mustangs! What a play to force the sack and taking up the ball by number 11 on the defensive end, Theodore McDuffie from Amherst, New York. Oh my goodness, what a turn of events. You want to say commentators' comment, going up like fine wine. I said, don't underestimate and count out this Monroe defense. What do? They give me a touchdown. Ask and I shall receive, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness, what a play. And it's all celebration from this Monroe sideline. Remember that name, ladies and gentlemen. Sophomore Theodore McDuffie. I don't know what his plans are after finishing here, but send that one to the highlight reel and somebody get this man a scholarship. Whatever school out there can give him one. That was an amazing play. Brings down Hagen, forces the fumble, recovers the ball, and just runs it in. Wait a minute. Yeah, it's us. Looks like we got an unsportsmanlike assessed against Monroe, forcing a 15-yard penalty, so making the kick a little bit deeper. And we got another whistle on the play. So I know you're getting excited, Mustangs, but you gotta keep the temperature and the discipline in check. So field goal kick here for Joseph Wright. Or excuse me, extra point attempt. Here's the kick. And it is no good. So miss on the kick from about the 25-yard line. So it'll be 20-7. Back to a 2-possession lead over Lackawanna And the special teams will come back out for the kickoff attempt.
Both of them at the same time.
Kickoff unit comes out for Monroe. Absolutely, the defense once again managing to shell shock Lackawanna. And Wright kicks this one down pretty deep. Hodge, not Hodge. It's going to be picked up by Kemp, and he's going to run this back and gets forced out of bounds. And he'll get forced out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. Nope, not about 35. Excuse me. It's going to be. We might be at about the 35-yard line for the next set of plays by Lackawanna. 12:40 to go. Clock continues to tick here in the third quarter. Timeout called. And both teams will strategize here. Lackawanna needs to kind of manage to get their center back and recenter themselves and reevaluate, realizing that Monroe is coming out fighting. Like I said, Monroe has not won against them since 2021.
Please put 13-10 on the clock.
So looks like the clock's going to have to be reset. It'll be 13:10 on the clock. We got an injured player coming off the field as well from Monroe, being attended to by our trainers. But with Lackawanna, they came into this, as I mentioned in the pregame. For those of you who are just joining us, they've won the last 5 straight contests against Monroe. And Monroe's only won 3 times against them total in 14 contests where they've taken on each other. Hagan back in the pocket. Hands it off. And Edwards will be brought down after a gain of about 6. 2nd and 4. Sun setting here in Mount Vernon, New York, as the temperature begins to drop. Beautiful fall evening here today. And lights are coming on. Another handoff. And brought down this time. I believe Edwards did get the first down. And he will be a fresh set of downs. Hagan hikes the ball again. Passes to Hodge on the low side. Hodge breaking through some tackles and with a big gain of about 8 yards. So it looks like Lackawanna might be shifting more towards the, as we saw in the first half, where they were kind of going for the long ball, might be playing the short ball here. Yep, another lateral pass. But this time the Monroe defense brings them down for a loss. Terrell Harper got the pass and gets absolutely swallowed up. And he'll get forced back to the 50. With a loss of 2. And we got a player down who's injured on the field again for Monroe. And the trainers are out here, clock stopping with 11:51 remaining. As I was saying, folks, it looks like Lackawanna's strategy now shifting more towards the short pass and the small ball, and because of that, Monroe now clearly, as we saw in that last play, able to adjust to it nicely and adapt. Instead of what we saw in the first half where Hagan was always going for the long pass, trying to go for the 30, 40-yard passes. So third down. And looks like no loss, actually, as I thought he had lost, but it looks like he had managed to maintain status quo. So 3rd and 4. Hagan hikes it back in the pocket. They hike it back in the pocket. Here they go for the pass, and caught by Hodge. Hodge trying to break some tackles. Breaks one, breaks two, cannot break the third, and gets pulled down at about the 12-yard line. And excuse me, not Wyatt Hagan in the pocket. That time it was Brian Johnson in for the throw, who has come in to throw, the sophomore from Woodbury, New Jersey. And an impressive throw for him to Hodge. And now we're inside the red zone on the long pass. That one was commentator's curse. As I said, they're going for the short passes now. They go right back to the long ball. This time, run by Edwards. And he's going to get brought down for very little, for maybe a gain of 2. Or no, gain of 3 by the looks of it. At the 10-yard line. 2nd and 6. Johnson hikes back, gets it to Edwards again. Edwards trying to go around the long side. He's going to be in, and that's going to be a touchdown for Lackawanna. And no, looks like no touchdown. Yep, touchdown. It was a delayed call. I thought they might reverse it and call him, may have said he might have stepped out of bounds or something because he was running along the sideline there. But they call a touchdown, and here comes the kicking unit. Keegan Hughes for the extra point attempt. Here's the kick. And that will be through the upright. And back to a one-possession game. The Monroe Mustangs up 20-14 over the Falcons of Lackawanna with 10:32 to go in the third quarter. So let's see if the Mustangs can respond. Last time they did, it resulted in a very dramatic defensive touchdown. Looks like an audible being called here on the kicking side. Michael Hartshorn, the punter, will handle the kick. And they're going to squib kick it. Picked up. Here comes the return. You're going to have some daylight. Gets back to about, brought down at the 42. Returned by Jashawn Amin, number 7. Saw him go down earlier towards the end of the first half, but it looks like he's back out and continuing to play well. A good return for Monroe. Good field position. The 42, we've at about the 42-yard line. And it's 1st and 10 as Raiden Oliver comes back out with the offensive unit, seeing if they can keep up some production going. Oliver hikes the ball. Pocket collapses. He's going to run it himself. Instead, he's down and makes the gain. Makes a gain of about 3 or 4 yards on that play. And it'll be 2nd and 6. Just seeing Oliver, when needs to, not afraid to scramble in the pocket. Oliver in the dime formation. Hikes the ball. Oh, tries to go for the handoff, and it'll be brought down for a loss. Redekis Johnson not able to get far on that one, and so now it'll be 3rd and 9. Loss of 3. 19:17 to go. Redekis, or excuse me, Johnson on behind with Oliver. Oliver going for the pass, and it's going to be caught. Well, we got a little bit of extracurriculars going on in the field here. Some linemen got to be separate. Some of the linemen got to be separated. Nope, I thought it was caught. Instead, it was incomplete. And that'll bring up 4th down. From my view, I thought Harrington had gotten to it in time, but he did not, and so it'll be 4th, and the punting unit will come out. And here's the punt. Good hang time on it. Fair catch called at the 25-yard line. And Lackawanna will get their next set of downs. (20-14). Monroe leads by 6. Still live here from Memorial Field if you're just joining us. Ben Smith on the call. 8:28 to go in the 3rd. Brian Johnson will stay in the pocket, subbing in for Hagan after that fumble earlier, and he's going to run it. Run himself, he runs into the referee, bounces off him. I've never seen that before, and keeps it going, and I believe he got in for the 1st down. And yes, he did. Good play by Brian Johnson. I think he could have gone for more had he not run into the ref down there. But he basically ricocheted off him, and when he ricocheted, he fell over and broke the plane into the first for a 1st down. He's going to run it again, and he's going to get swallowed up here, and with a gain of about 4. So being up 2nd and 6 at the 40. Wish we had instant replay for that one. There's a lot of plays, actually, I wish we had instant replay for, especially that fumble recovery. Second and 6. Handoff to Edwards. Edwards swinging around the far side of the pocket, and he's going to get brought down with a gain of 2. Oh, excuse me, actually a gain of 3, actually. It'll be 3rd down and 3. Big play coming up here if Monroe wants to try and get a stop, as the clock runs to about under 7 minutes to go in the 3rd. Oh, a false start here, and that's going to be a flag. That's probably going to, I think that's going to go, I think that's going to go potentially against Lackawanna. We'll see what the call is here.
Encroachment against the defense.
Oh, fascinating. Actually, it's interesting. It's encroachment against Monroe's defense. A big mistake here, and that's an automatic 1st down now, being handed on a silver platter to Lackawanna. And they'll take that all day, every day. Got to clean up some of these little mistakes here if you're gonna continue to maintain this lead over this nationally ranked team of Lackawanna that the Mustangs are facing before them. So 1st and 10 from the 48. Handoff to Edwards. Fumbled! Ball's fumbled. I think Monroe recovered it. And yes, they did. It's a Monroe ball. Edwards dropped it. I believe that was knocked loose on the defense by number 31 for the Mustangs, Rakir Brown. Unbelievable. Just when you think they've done something silly as a mistake, they pull you right back in with another big moment. A huge, huge fumble recovery by this Mustangs team, and now they go on the offense from their own 47-yard line. Oliver hands it off. Here comes Johnson on the run. Gets brought down at about the 50. Maybe just inside the 50. So it'll be 2nd and 7 from the 50. Oliver hikes it. Oh! Ball gets tipped on the pass attempt. Almost intercepted by number 34 for the Lackawanna defense. That was Milam Ball, a 6', 220-pound linebacker from Largo, Maryland. So that brings up 3rd down and 7. Raiden Oliver hikes the ball, steps back in the pocket, scrambles. Oh, and he's getting swallowed up here, and he'll get brought down for a big loss. All the way back to about the 39, about the 40-yard line. And that'll be a loss of about eight or 9 yards. And that'll be 4th and out for the Mustangs, and bring up the punting unit. So bring up the punting unit. I see Hodge, as well as Kemp setting up for the punt return. And we'll catch that. Tries to return it on the run, and he's going to get fumbled again. Who recovered it? It's going to be, what's the call? There's a huge mass of bodies down there. Unbelievable. Another fumble for Lackawanna. I've never seen this. I've never seen this before in my life. Like, everybody on paper was expecting Lackawanna to come in here and absolutely run roughshod against Monroe, but based on the last few contests against them, but that has not been the case. So the fumble was recovered back by, so we know ball was fumbled. Lackawanna managed to recover it, and they'll have their offense out there. They almost blew a major opportunity. Here's a pass to Hodge. He's on the run, gets brought down at the 44-yard line. Gain of 4. Brings up a gain of 6. Brian Johnson, back in the pocket, scrambles, pocket collapses. Can't find him in a pass to, he's going to have to run it himself. Oh, hard tackle, and he's going to get knocked out with a gain of about 4, and it should be about 3rd and 2. We got a player down for Monroe all the way back at the 28. Trainers can come out. And the clock will stop with 3:40 remaining in the third quarter. Looks like we will continue here without controversy. That was number 27 for the Monroe defense. Matthew Courtney, who went down and from Mayapack, New York, and he'll get up and walk off the field under his own power. And that should allow us to resume here. Both teams using this as an opportunity to have a huddle and have a discussion on what to do next. So 3rd down and 2 for Lackawanna. Brian Johnson in. He's been in since after the cataclysmic fumble by his predecessor, Wyatt Hagan. You hear the Monroe fans getting excited down below me. The Mustang faithful. Ready to yell, hi-ho, Silver. Here's the handoff to Edwards. Edwards. Flag on the play, and I think he may have gotten through for the first. We'll see what the call is. Brought down about just inside the 50. Just barely managed to get there. We'll see what some discussion going on among the referees down there. We'll see what the verdict is. Wow, holding on Lackawanna against number 73, Christian Bundra on the O-line. 10-yard penalty and replay of 3rd down. An absolute dagger to Lackawanna. And I'm sure Monroe now is breathing a sigh of relief. Otherwise, that would have been 1st down. So now there'll be 3rd and 12 deep from the 38-yard line. Johnson hikes the ball back, scrambles in the pocket, and he's sacked for a loss. Gets brought down for a sack at the 34-yard line, and that just turned bad into worse for Lackawanna. And that'll bring up the special teams as they're now 4th and 15. Here comes the punt. Good hang time on it. Fair catch called. And Monroe will start their next drive from the 29-yard line, with the fair catch being called there by Jashawn Amin, freshman from Petersburg, Virginia. 2:24 to go here in the 3rd. Under the lights here on a beautiful fall Saturday evening in Mount Vernon, New York at Memorial Field. Temperature when this game started was about 68 degrees, has now dropped to about 57. No chance of rain, that's the important thing. Rayden Oliver sets up for the next play. Has Radekis Johnson to his side, fakes the handoff, throws, gets the throw off to Harrington, and Harrington gets brought down and knocked out of bounds at the 41. And that'll be a 1st down for Monroe. Oh, it's interesting. Looks, correction on my call earlier. Radekis Johnson was subbed out, and number 24, Sean Robinson from Leesburg, Virginia, is in now, the sophomore running back. Set up. No 1st down from the 39. Oliver hikes the ball. Gets scrambled in the pocket. breaks the tackle. This time, the second one, he will not break and gets brought down at the 29. Another big breakthrough on the defensive zone. So now, big situation coming up here from the 30. It's going to be second down and about 21 yards, excuse me. Second and 21. Oliver's going to have to try and set up a pass here. Goes for a pass here and gets a completion and rolled out of bounds. Will be Amin. That'll make up some ground. Set up third down and 12. Gets him at least within striking distance for a pass to try and go for the first down. Oliver hikes it, breaks out of the pocket. Pocket collapses, goes for the long pass, and that's going to be out of bounds and throws it away. And that'll bring up fourth down at the 39. And with that, Oliver will come out, and that'll bring up the special teams for the punt. And I got to give and let me tell you, from what I've been seeing on Lackawanna, one of the main foils for Oliver has been number 4, Gene Townsell, who you've seen out there is the linebacker who has been able to really break through the pocket and absolutely harass the living daylights out of him. He tackled Oliver twice towards the end of the first half, and he helped get that big sack earlier with assistance from number 34, Milan Ball. Those have been the two main weapons defensively. Oh, and a delay of game against Monroe turns bad into worse on this drive, and so they're going to have to punt from deeper. It's time from, instead of the 39, from the 34. Kai Collins, the sophomore punter from Harrison, Australia. We got him from all over the world on this roster. Sets up the punt. Good hang time on it. Hodges will catch it. Has some room to work with. Goes to the 50, the 40. It's brought out of bounds at about the 31-yard line and managed to gain about 25 yards on that ordeal. An excellent punt return. Went for that tack, pushed out of bounds. He would have been long gone. And with that, folks, that'll bring the third quarter to an end. Monroe leads right now 20-14. They lead by 6 as we get ready for the fourth and final quarter here at Memorial Field and Mount Vernon. We're going to take a short break here on the broadcast, and we'll be right back on Mustangs Vision from YouTube. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to your live stream of Mustangs football from YouTube. And this next play resumes, and it's going to be a sack for a loss against Lackawanna. Great play by the Monroe defense. And that'll be a loss of 3. As Brian Johnson gets sacked before he can really manage to set up any sort of play. Excuse me, loss of 2, actually. They just readjusted the position on the markers. So 2nd and 12. Back in the pocket for Johnson. Scrambles. Breaks through himself. Has to get pulled back. Ball almost gets stripped. And he gets brought down for a loss of 1. I think I don't think he intended to advance out of the pocket. And when he did that, it obviously took away his ability to throw. And then he tried to get back into the pocket. And that slight hesitation and indecision is what cost him and gave Monroe the opening to sack him for another loss. So 3rd and 13 now. From the 33-yard line. Important play coming up here for Lackawanna. Handoff. And brought down for no gain. Handoff to number 23, Elijah Solomon. 5'9" running back from Bowie, Maryland. And that'll be 4th down. Oh, looks like they actually charged him with a loss of a yard, actually, again there. Great set of plays there from the Monroe defense. It's been a defensive slugfest from these two teams. It's going to be 4th down. I think they're going to go for it. Yes, they are. They're going for it on 4th. Big moment coming up here. Johnson back in the pocket. Goes for the long pass. And nobody home, and that will be a turnover on downs, courtesy of this Monroe defense, and you can see them celebrating. They know what they just did was a big deal. And it'll be a Mustangs 1st down from about the 33-yard line. Big moment coming up here. You lead by 6. Monroe would appreciate a touchdown right now so that they can get some insurance as we wind down the remaining minutes. Five receivers wide. Oliver back in the pocket. Goes for the short pass. And it'll be swung out of bounds. And there's a flag. I think that's going to be holding. Grabbed him and just kind of spun him around. We'll see what the call is on that. He brought him down to about the 40, but that looked like a holding to me. Let's see what the verdict is from. You could see Monroe already starting to move up. I think they know this is in their favor. Let's see what the call is. Number 1 answer still on the board. Survey says.
5-yard face mask against the defense. 5-yard penalty. The result of the play, 1st down.
Yep, face mask grab, automatic 1st down. I kind of saw the grab there after the catch by Amin.
That's a 15-yard penalty.
Wow, check
15 yards.
15-yard penalty, not a 5-yard penalty. What was it? Turning injury to insult against Lackawanna. That's a huge gain for Monroe, and you can hear the Mustang faithful loves that one. So 1st down inside Lackawanna territory from the 45-yard line. 5 receivers wide. Oliver back in the pocket. Audibles. Amin circles around. Oliver back in the pocket. He's got Lyman in pursuit. In hot pursuit, he breaks the tackles. He's on the run. He goes all the way to 1st. We got a flag down on the play, though, and he goes out of bounds at about the 32-yard line. But let's see what the flag call was. That was on the backfield. I think that's going to go against Lackawanna. Let's see what the call is. No. Oh, that's a dagger. 10-yard penalty against a 10-yard penalty for holding in the back. I saw the flag go down way over behind the defense, so I thought it might have been against them. But no, it's against Monroe, and that's a 10-yard penalty. And replay 1st down. So all that gain they just made was negated. So they'll replay at 1st and 9. from the 44-yard line. Here's the handoff to Johnson. And a lot of bodies in there, and that'll be a gain of 2, maybe 3 yards. 2 yards. And it'll set up 2nd and 7. Raiden Oliver. 3 receivers. There's Radekis Johnson behind him. Hands it off. Johnson has room. Breaks through. Breaking a couple tackles. Trying to break some more. And he's get to about, might be a yard short. He got to about the 36. And then immediately, he gets about the 36 and immediately gets grabbed at the legs by 2 defensemen, and he might be a little short. We'll see what the call is. Yep, 3rd and inches. Big play coming up here. Mustangs have to convert to keep the momentum going. 3rd and inches. I would not be surprised if you get the QB sneak here. Running out of time on the play clock. Got to hike the ball here now, and he does with a second left. Back in the pocket. Oliver gets tackled and sacked for a loss. And gets brought down at the 40. Or about 30, at the 39 actually. And that'll be 4th. 4 and 6, and that'll probably bring out the special teams. They got to hurry up here on setting up this play. We got 4 seconds on the play clock. I don't think they're going to get it off in time. No, they will not, and that'll be a delay of game. Monroe was not ready for that play. Big mistake. And 5-yard penalty. And that'll put them back to do the punt from the 45. We got to discuss. One of the refs is kneeling down at the moment. Interesting. We have an injured ref. You don't see that every day. And looks like the trainers are going to come out to check on him. So we'll take a timeout here on the broadcast while this is being attended to, and we'll be right back here on this Mustangs live stream from YouTube. We'll be right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our live stream on YouTube of Mustangs football here at Memorial Field in Mount Vernon, New York. Mustangs now go for the punt here. Will look like a lot of promise, a collapsed effort. And this one's going to have a lot of hang time. And it bounces out of bounds at about the, I think about the 15-yard, nope, 16-yard line, count that. Oh, I was right first time, 15. They were kind of having some debate. Looks like the refs had a little bit of debate as to what line it was going to be on, and it's going to be at the 15-yard line. So actually pretty well placed. It forces Lackawanna start from deep, 9:02 to go. They're still down by 6 to the Monroe Mustangs, who have led the whole way. And what's been a pretty lower scoring affair. The two defenses have done a good job of checking each other. And defensively for the Mustangs, they've only averaged allowing 24 points per game. They've actually are pretty solid, and they're going to go for the long pass here, and that's going to be out of bounds, and there's a flag. And you can see everybody moving downfield. That might be pass interference. We'll see what the call is. I'm seeing a lot of people move downfield and pretty far. We'll see what the verdict is. Survey says.
Pass interference, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yep, pass interference, and that's a dagger against the Monroe defense. 15-yard penalty, an automatic first down. That brings Lackawanna all the way up to the 30-yard line. Johnson hikes it, goes for a short pass, and immediately tackled on the pass to Harrison. Brian Johnson had to get rid of it quickly, too, because the pocket was already starting to envelop a bit. And that'll bring up 2nd down and 7. And that was for the handoff. Edwards, and immediately tackled, swallowed up by defense. And nope. Excuse me, it was a handoff to Solomon. And that'll be 3rd down and 7. And 6. Excuse me, gain of 1. And Brian Johnson hikes the ball back in the pocket, fakes the handoff, and gets the throw, and a tackle for a loss on the pass to Harper. And that brings up 4th down. Clock continues to run. Another missed opportunity for Lackawanna. So 4th down and 8, a loss of 1. Punting team comes out. And number 7, Deshaun Amin, will handle return duties. Good hang time on the punt. Amin plays back, and that's going to be ball short and touched at about the 38, count that, 40-yard line, actually, by the defense. So actually pretty solid starting position. And special teams had to grab that immediately for Lackawanna, or else that ball was about to bounce back towards the 50. So about the 40-yard line. And Monroe gets another chance offensively to try and extend their lead. With 6:49 to go. The minutes wind down. They only lead by 6 in a 1-possession game. And it looks like we got a flag on the play. Behind Lackawanna. Offense. Another delay of game against Monroe and the Mustangs. You got to clean up these mistakes in the later stages of the game. If for some reason the Mustangs end up giving this up, it's going to be because of silly penalties like that. You got to clean up the communication. So now they're going to be 1st and 15 from the 35. Oliver calls for the play, hands it off. And down for possibly a loss. Yep, a loss of 1 by Sean Robinson. 2nd down and 16. Monroe needs to get a pass going here. Oliver goes for a toss, and another loss as Robinson gets brought down again, this time at the 29. We're not just retreating at this point, we're advancing in the wrong direction. Check that back to the 28-yard line, 3rd and 22. As the clock continues to wind down with 5:40 remaining. Four receivers deep. Almost have to, at this point, you almost have to pass it. Coverage, Lackawanna coverage, playing back passively, knowing he has to get a deep pass. Almost trips on the play, runs out of the pocket himself, breaks a couple of tackles, but it gets only back to the 40, essentially right back to where he started as we bring up 4th down and 10. But the one thing the one main benefit that brought to them is it just killed time off the clock as we get under 5 minutes to go. And we bring out the special teams. We got in Lackawanna for the punt return. We got Mike Hodge out there again, along with number 24, Khalif Kemp. We're running out of time on the clock here. Got to hike the ball, and they do. Here's the punt. Caught by, he dropped it for a fumble, and it's recovered by Monroe. Unbelievable. What a play by the special teams. I don't believe it. They've done it again. What is it with this Monroe special teams? Another fumble recovery. Kemp went for the ball, and he didn't have it secure, bounced off his chest, went down, and immediately recovered by the Monroe special teams. You can't get much better than that. A blown opportunity for Lackawanna with 4:17 to go. And now Lackawanna brings it all the way to the 35-yard line. Raiden Oliver hands it off to Robinson. And Robinson with a modest gain of 3. Holy moly. Folks, I've seen some pretty effective special teams in football in my lifetime. But Monroe is really showing what a special teams can do when they are well trained and well coordinated. Somebody give the special teams coordinator a raise right now. This instant. All right, Oliver setting up in a dime formation, calls an audible, sets it up closer, letting some time kill off the clock here, and hikes the ball, hands it off to Robinson. He's got room and gets taken out at the knees with a gain of 4. And that'll bring up 3rd down. And 2. Now Lackawanna will have to start using timeouts, using their first timeout of the second half with 3:20 to go. And we'll take a timeout here on the broadcast for that timeout, and we'll be right back here so I can catch my breath. I'm Ben Smith on Mustang Sprout live stream on YouTube. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. after this timeout. Ben Smith live from Memorial Field in Mount Vernon, New York. 3rd and 2. Big play coming up here. You can see the kicker warming up, potentially. Lackawanna needs a big stop here. Oliver hikes it. Oh, ball's fumbled. He's going to recover it. I think it's going to be recovered by Lackawanna. The long snapper tried to set him up in the shotgun and just sent it up sailing over Oliver's head, and that's going to be recovered for a fumble recovery by Lackawanna at the 40-yard line. Are you kidding me? And that'll be recovered by linebacker number 4, Gene Townsell got it. And also hand on it by defensive back number 11, Patrick Body Jr. Oh, an absolute dagger to this Monroe on the offense. They've just had a lot of errors, silly errors from penalties and things like this that just happened here with a fumble to set the instances up like this. And it's the one thing that's kept Lackawanna alive in this game. They're not looking like they look mortal versus what they've seen before. Johnson back in the pocket, gets the pass to Hodge and then some, and gets a gain and a first down. With a 15-yard pass and brings him up to the 45 in Mustangs territory. With under 3 minutes to go, you got to think Lackawanna has to be energized by this. Here's the hike in the back pocket. Ryan Johnson goes for the pass. Gets it off. To his usual reliable Mike Hodge. And Hodge, with a 5-yard gain, gets brought down out of bounds to stop the clock. 2:38 to go. That's the thing right now. Just the bite and hold tactics, going for the short passes. Hodge set up on the wing again. Hikes the ball. Back in the pocket. Has to break the tackle. Johnson going to run himself and slides in, and he's going to get brought down with a gain of 3. Sets up 3rd down and 2. And Monroe absolutely scrambling right now. As this will bring us down to about the 2-minute warning. They want to try and get one off before they play, and they do. And that's going to be no on the first, not just short of the first. And there's a flag on the play. And we got a little bit of extracurriculars going on in the sideline. This could get ugly. Got to clean it up here, boys. Let's see what the play is. Let's see what the call is for. And that might be potentially against Monroe on the way that tackle played out. We'll see what the official call is.
Personal foul, late hit, out of bounds, against the defense.
Yep.
15-yard penalty, first down.
Oh, and I called that. Yep. A late hit. It'll be the 2-minute timeout. And that's a 15-yard penalty. Not only is that a big gain for Lackawanna, it puts them in field goal range. Now, obviously, they need a touchdown here in order to stay alive in this, because if they get the ball back to Monroe, Monroe can just run the clock. But it sets them up where they're in much favorable position just inside the red zone, at the 21-yard line. That's the big thing I told you that's been working against the Mustangs right now, is all these flags, fouls, and with these personal fouls, late hits, unsportsmanlike conduct, and then, of course, we saw the fumble earlier, and some delay of games as well. The penalties have just been piling up against Monroe. Lackawanna has been much cleaner in terms of the penalties. I would modestly estimate, in fact, Monroe's probably given up about 45, 50 yards at least in penalties in this contest. So 1:56 to go to that 2-minute timeout. Ryan Johnson sets it up in a dime formation. Fakes the handoff. He's going to take it himself and gets brought down after a gain of 3. Or excuse me, gain of 2. Oh, 3. They adjusted at the last second. So 2nd and 7. Clock continues to run. Johnson hikes it. Hands it off. He's going to break a couple of tackles on the handoff. And brought down after a gain of about 3 or 4. Now it's going to be 3rd and 3. The biggest third down coming up here. False start. That was a big false start there. Who against? We'll see. Discussion by the refs on this one. I think there might be some disagreement as to who is guilty. 1:11 to go in this contest. Oh, it looks like it's going to be against the offense. A huge call. A 5-yard penalty and having a repeat third down by Lackawanna and pushing that ball back. You saw the reaction from number 74, Nick Cillian, one of the O-lines, and of anger. And the clock continues to run. Now, about just over a minute to go. Brian Johnson has to make a play here quickly. Back in the pocket, scrambles. Line clapping on him. He's going to run it himself. He's going to break the tackles, spin moves, and touchdown, Lackawanna. Unbelievable play. What a run by Brian Johnson. The pocket collapsed. He broke about 3 tackles and broke through for a touchdown. We're tied at 20 apiece with 48 seconds to go. Holy moly. Big extra point attempt coming up here. That missed extra point earlier, potentially coming back to bite Monroe now. Timeout by Lackawanna. 48 seconds to go. Well, if he makes this, or if he doesn't make it, the only good news and I guess salvation for Monroe is they would only need to get a field goal to win it. But that's a big if. Got to get down the field first. We will see here how this plays out. I picked one heck of a day to make my commentary debut for you fine folks on the Mustang Faithful. Can't get much more dramatic than this. We've had twists, turns, drama, penalties galore in this contest. And a very impressive touchdown just now. Keegan Hughes sets up for probably one of the biggest kicks of his career. And it's going to be... No, it's going to be good. So now, for the first time in this contest, with 48 seconds to go, Lackawanna takes the lead by 1 point, 21-20. I remind you folks of our history, October 9th, 2021, when Monroe last beat Lackawanna, it was by 1 point in overtime at their place, 49-48. They say, now history may not repeat itself, but history does move in patterns. And now it is a 1 point game with 48 seconds to go. Whew. Here comes the kicking unit. Hartshorn places the kick, and that's going to be back way deep. That's going to be down at about the 5-yard line. Johnson it was a recovery, breaks a couple of tackles, still trying to move, and brought down for Amin. And that if you needed a good kick, deep kick, then Lackawanna just got exactly what they needed to do. As we're going to be starting all the way back at about the, let me take a check on that. We're way back. We're at the 13-yard line. Yeah, this is going to be a long job for this offense here. Thankfully, we got, pretty sure Monroe hasn't used any timeouts yet. Still got all timeouts of this half. Yep, 3 timeouts in their favor. They're starting way back at 13, 1st and 10. Oliver in the pocket. Hikes the ball. Plays back. Goes for the pass. It's intercepted. And touchdown, Lackawanna. That might have done it. Scored by number 11, Patrick Boddy Jr., defensive back from Monroeville, Pennsylvania. Intercepted it on the short pass, read it perfectly, and picked it off and scores. This team is not ranked 11th in the country for nothing. An absolute dagger to Monroe late in this game with 37 seconds to go. And Hughes with the kick, and that's good, and there's a flag on the play. So the kick was good through the upright, but we have a flag on the play. We'll see what the verdict is on that. So I didn't quite read it. The mic cut out on the referee, but it was against Monroe again, but it was declined. So that's going to be an extra point. So now all of a sudden, an 8-point lead, 28-20 for Lackawanna over Monroe Mustangs. It ain't over yet. Right now, though, if Monroe wants any hope at this, they need to get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Now, hey, I've seen stranger things happen in the sport of football. But this has been one of the wildest last 5 minutes of a football game I've ever seen. And I'm a Notre Dame fan. Us Irish Catholics are used to seeing things like this. Oh, squib kick, recovered by Monroe. And trying to get set up, and they're going to be brought down at the 39-yard line. Ball was recovered by number 25, Retekis Johnson. So 32 seconds remaining on the clock. Like I said, Monroe needs a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. And folks, I'm sure you fans watching at home are probably just as on the edge of your seat as I am. Okay, so 35 seconds. A little extra 3 there for Monroe. As now the Monroe offense, led by Raiden Oliver, takes over again. Oliver back in the pocket, going for the long pass, gets it off, gets the pass to Rose. Rose trying to go back, goes backwards and goes out of bounds at about the 48-yard line with 25 seconds left on the clock. a little bit of a hair raiser there as he almost got brought down at the 50 to give up yards, but he thankfully stepped out of bounds. I think he was getting a little greedy there. But better judgment took over. So first down from the 49-yard line. Defense is going to be watching the wings big time. Ran over, breaks a tackle. Right on the run himself. He breaks through all the way down to the 30-yard line, but he's running down the clock. They got to keep it moving. And a timeout, I believe a timeout just got called by Monroe. Holy mother of God. So timeout called by Monroe. They still got 2 timeouts left. But field goal is no good to them here with 15 seconds left. They got to get a touchdown. So they're at the 30-yard line. And for Lackawanna, they need any sort of stop or turnover and no penalties. And for Monroe, no more penalties and a touchdown. Oliver hikes the ball back in the pocket. He's going to go deep, way deep, and overthrows. And that's going to go out of bounds on the intended pass for Evan Harrington. Had he managed to place that, he would have been long gone, as Harrington had nobody on him. So that's one Oliver's going to want to get back. So 9 seconds left on the clock, second down and 10. Still got 2 timeouts left. That's the one saving grace Monroe has for them right now. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. You can cut the tension with a knife here, folks. Oliver back in the pocket. He goes for the long pass. Not almost picked. And that ball gets knocked down. Oh, there's a flag on the play. Back in the secondary. We'll see what the call is. Oh, this could be big, folks. Hold on to your butts.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 6, defense.
Wow. Unbelievable. Unsportsmanlike from Lackawanna. So a 15-yard penalty to help Monroe and moving the ball all the way up inside the red zone to the 15-yard line with 4 seconds remaining. Just when you think this can't get any crazier, folks, it gets crazier. So another timeout taken by Monroe here. Still got another one left in their pocket if need be. So does Lackawanna. But at this point, I don't think it matters for Lackawanna. They just the only thing that control their fate, they just got to get a stop, or the clock runs out. Monroe looking for some salvation here. They've made a lot of mistakes in this fourth quarter to lead up to this point, but they're looking for some redemption here. This game's been full of all sorts of twists, turns, pickoffs, fumbles, turnovers galore by both teams. In some cases, nothing to show for it, but in a couple of cases, notably, a lot to show, something to show for it. And so we get set up for the next play. Raiden Oliver in the pocket. Five receivers abreast. Hikes it back. Has to break a tackle. He might have to run it himself. Runs out of time on the clock, and that's it. Out of bounds, and Lackawanna will win the game. As the clock strikes 0, and the pocket collapsed, and he could not get the pass off.
That's
And that's the ball game, ladies and gentlemen. Lackawanna, number 11 in the country, manages to survive and stave off the upset from Monroe, who fall to 4-4 on the season in their last home game, and will win this contest 28-20 on this tonight, and continue their momentum and winning streak. Oh my goodness, that was close of a ball game as you could ever want, folks. An absolute classic here from Memorial Field. Thank you to everybody on the Monroe Athletics staff for putting up everything today and giving me this opportunity. I'm Ben Smith saying so long and good night to the Mustang faithful watching here on the live stream as both teams shake hands. We'll see you next time